Hello, I'm Steve, and welcome to the Patio Heat channel, where we create visual concepts of infrared heating as well as tips for outdoor comfort. Our one-on-one customer support helps you make the best decision for your application. We strive to earn your business. Visit our patioheat.com website for sales and more information. Now let's get heating. Alright, so here we have this residential application, and you can see here we have basically three different seating arrangements. We have a dining space over here, reclining space here, and then some bar stool seating over here. There are a couple of things that we want to watch out for. The door here swings to the left in an accordion style. We do have a fan here in the center of the room, and I basically have it centered from here as well as from the inside edge of this post here to the wall. And it might come down a little bit further than what I have it here, but let's just leave it at that for right now. There are these screened in areas here. Now the one on the left here is non-removable, and then the other three, 1, 2, 3, are adjustable, so you can move them up and down. And I think that's about it for right now. Let's take off the screen so we can maneuver here through this model a little bit easier. And I'm going to throw on the dimensions here. So overall dimensions I have here is approximately 13 feet 1/4 inch by about 21 foot 1 3/4 inch to the inside edge of each post here. There's a section back here that I have at 11 foot 6, and then we have a ceiling height here of about 9 foot 6 to the tongue and groove finished wood here. I do have this little ledge here at 8 foot 10 that may or may not be accurate. And then we have a diameter of this fan that I placed here at 4 foot 3 3/4 inch. Let's see if there's anything else here that we want to talk about. I think that's about it. And the door here does go up to 8 foot off the finished floor. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at obviously you can see the placement that I have here right now of the Infratech. These are 6,000 watt units in FlushMount kits. So let's go ahead and look at that real quick. I'm going to turn off those dimensions for a moment, and I'm going to actually take off the top here so we can take a look at the joists that are going across here. And this is why I've placed them where I've placed them. Number one is because of the fact that we have the clearances below, and as you can see with the fan here, and if I put that dimension back on, you can see that there's about 6 inches, a little more than 6 inches here, that we are not making the proper clearance to the fan blades themselves. So the only way that we can really achieve placing the heaters in the center of the room, kind of like what they had hoped for. Let me just put this on here real quick. They sent me a floor plan. You can see they have one heater here, one heater here, but we do need to move those heaters in according to the clearances. So and the other thing I wanted to mention is that, you know, being that the mostly the seating here is pushed to the left over here, I wanted to make sure that we are heating up as much as we could to the left hand side here as well as over here. Now if I centered the patio heater here, we probably wouldn't really get the good coverage here that we're looking for, and we'll go ahead and take a look at that in a second here. So let me just turn that floor plan off here for a second and look at the overall array. And essentially what I have here too, I should just mention, is between this span of the post and this span, which I think was 10 foot 9 3/8, I have the heater centered within that span, and then I just place the heater. I try to move it over about 4 foot center from this outer edge here. However, that would lay right on top of this joist here, so I went ahead and moved it to the right, and that's why I did that, as well as the fact that, again, we need to make sure we are meeting the clearances, the combustibles, and this fan blade, if it's a combustible material, we need to make sure we stay away from that. But let's go ahead and look at the footprint of heat. So footprint of heat, you can see with, and I'll mention something about this heater over here in 1 second here. But the footprint of heat, you can see that we get a really good coverage in the seating area over here, as well as a nice overlap in the middle. And then we have a decent coverage of the overall space here. I purposely moved this chair out so you can see that if you're sitting in this chair and your upper body is, up here, it's not going to be actually hit by the ray. Now, infrared is a light wave, and light waves bend and stretch as they come away from the heater surface. So yes, you will feel some of that warmth, but the ideal warmth is the shaded orange part here that you see in my drawing. So, but yes, this would be a very good coverage area, and we would be making the clearances with a fan in this position at that dimension here, the 4'3" and 3/4 rather. So would I place these heaters, move them, let's say, into that center section here, trying to match up around where the fan is? And yes, we could do that, and this is look at what that would look like. We would have to move it either on this side here, and if I did that, you can see that my footprint isn't really on this left hand side here at all, or we can put it on this side here, and you can see that the footprint is decent, but then we have an issue with regards to what would we do on the bar stool seating area here. So yes, this could happen, but we'd also have to get rid of this fan, by the way. I didn't mention that. So that is a issue with regards to placing the heaters here. Let me just turn off the ray here for a second, and you can see this clearance of the heater below the heater is 18 inches from this edge here all the way to the left, and we are penetrating that fan diameter here. So that's partially why I didn't choose that, as well as the fact that I really would rather have more heat out here in this reclining area, as well as spaced over here. So let's push that back here for a second and go back with the rays. Now if I just turn this one here off for a second, you can see that our coverage is fairly decent with just this setup alone. But if you wanted to make sure that you had these seating areas here warmed up as well, and possibly that you might utilize this space differently at different times of the year, so you might like to have that extra heater over here. However, let me just mention this. These are 6,000 watt units, so at the normal seating height and dining space height here, that would be comfortable. You might want to have a control system on it, but it's ideal for this height here. However, if you're sitting here at the bar stool seating height, and you were to move, let's say, let's just go ahead and move one of these back out here a little bit. Sorry about that. Let's see if we can do that here. Now you're sitting a little bit higher in and closer to the ray itself, so a 6,000 watt probably would be too hot. For me, I'm sure it would be too hot. So you might want to use a duplex switch where you can turn one on, one off, and that would give you 3,000 or 6,000 watts. Or you can use a control system where you can dim the whole system down from 1% all the way up to 100% on and off. So that would be a good option here. But the good coverage here with that unit, I think, is a really good, decent coverage here. So let me see if there's anything else. We can move this over here, that 6 inches essentially, see what that looks like. We'll go 6 inches here, and then we could move it to the center of the room, but again, we still need to either place it on this side of this beam or joist, or this side. And you can see the placement is kind of not ideal, I should say. And then you can see here with the doors coming out, I have this one particular door here sticking 90 degrees out from the wall. So that spot here actually will not work, because I don't want to heat up this glass here ununiformly. So on a very cold day, let's say the glass is like 55 degrees or something of that nature, and then we put a nice ray of heat or infrared light wave into this glass. Well, this section down here is going to be hot, this section up here is going to be very, very cold, and there's a good chance of shattering. So I would not recommend this really at all. So let's go back to moving this particular here just one spot over here, and you can see the footprint here is still pretty decent, I would say. If you were to pull this chair back here, you know, we would probably be outside of that ray a little bit. Whoops, let's go here, try that again, and there we go. Let's see here. Yeah, you would be outside of that ray, and I think because this is an entry exit point, you know, chances of pushing the chairs to the left here would be less than pushing maybe the dining space over to the right a little bit more than to the left there. So in any case, and I think this would be, you know, something that's going to be fixed, so I'd rather have that heat right above this seating space here than like this one over here. So let me just push that all back here real quick and see what it looks like here. And I want to mention one further thing here. Put that back, and I want to put the top back on. So one thing I wanted to mention is that this client did state that they are going to use tongue and groove, and I think I moved this one off here, so that's why it's at 6 inches that I moved it here. So let's just go back here 6 inches roughly. It might be off slightly, but one thing I did want to mention is that because this is going to be a tongue and groove finish, I like to see the let's go here and take off this again. I like to see the flush mount kit attached to the beam across up here, and then the tongue and groove laid across the top of that to give it a really nice finish, so that you're actually not going to see the whole entire frame. Now you do need to keep a 1/2 inch away from these vent holes all the way around the unit with your combustible material, which would be tongue and groove. And then also another important thing is, because of this elevation change here, and that this could be a combustible material, you need to make sure that the elevation of the bottom of the heater matches the elevation of the tongue and groove at the bottom. So it's just something to think about when you are installing a system like this. So, but other than that, I think this is going to be a really nice design, and I hope this is going to help this customer. And if you're looking for some assistance with your outdoor heating application and you would like us to review your plans, please send your information into designs@patioheat.com. I'm Steve, and please tap that like button if you find this video useful. We don't advertise, we're not monetized. YouTube does not promote us in any way unless we receive a thumbs up from our viewers, and we truly appreciate that. Thank you. Have an excellent day.